I came home with a paper sleeve full of plane tickets and found my wife in the kitchen, hair up, apron on, the house smelling like roast chicken and rosemary. She met me at the door, wiped her hands on a towel, and kissed me like nothing in the world could go wrong. The table was set, candles ready. For 10 minutes, I was the luckiest man alive. I slipped the tickets into a drawer by the fridge, hid the grin, and thought how she'd light up when I told her about the trip. Then her phone lit up on the counter. She glanced at it, and her smile fell half an inch. It was quick, barely there, like a cloud passing a street lamp. She flipped the phone over, screen down, and pushed the wine toward me. "Smells amazing," I told her. "You're sweet," she said, busy with the salad. It should have been the perfect night. Instead, one small moment scratched the surface. If I'd known what that text was and where it would take us, I would have tightened my grip a lot earlier. We ate. We laughed. I waited until she pulled out the pie she'd somehow squeezed into her afternoon. That was my cue. "I stopped by the travel agency," I said, leaning back. "Remember that weekend you said we should plan and never do? I did it. 10 days. Sun, water, quiet. You and me." Her fork hovered. 10 days. Business seats there and back. Private little place by the water. You'll forget what day it is. "That's a lot," she said, eyes going to the flipped phone like it could give her a line. "You hate quiet time and ocean?" I kept it light. "I love you," she said, touching my wrist. "Thank you. 10 days is a lot with my schedule right now." She moved her hand away like it burned. "We'll talk in the morning?" "In the morning," I nodded. But the ticket sleeve slid a fraction in the drawer, and I caught myself thinking about the message she'd turned face down. After we cleaned up, she showered, slipped into one of my shirts, and curled up with me on the couch. The vibe was right. Her head on my shoulder, the TV on low. But when my phone buzzed, she didn't care. When hers did, she glanced quickly and tucked it under a cushion. "Everything okay?" I asked casual. "It's nothing. Nothing has a name. Just old friend stuff." She kissed my cheek and stood. "I'm going to bed." Old friend stuff planted a flag in the back of my head. I slept anyway, because I trusted the woman who fed me roast chicken and set out candles. In the morning, trust got tested. I left early to finalize the hotel details. The agent printed the itinerary, shook my hand, called me a romantic. I came home whistling, opened the door, and the house felt warm and whole. Her shoes were by the mat. The kitchen was tidy. Only she wasn't there. Bathroom door, open. Bedroom, empty bed, pillows in a neat row like a showroom. I texted, "Where are you?" 3 dots popped fast. "Remember my ex? He's back in town and wanted to catch up. Don't worry, we're just talking. You don't need the details." I stared at the screen like it owed me money. My thumb hovered. Then I put the phone down on the counter, leaned on the island, and listened to the dishwasher hum as if it had an opinion. Just talking. I don't need the details. I trusted her. I also filed the words like receipts. If I'd known how fast that one text would snowball, I would have changed our schedule right then and there. When she walked in around 5, the light gone from the windows, she kicked off her shoes and set her bag down like she'd run a marathon. I poured coffee and waited. "How was catching up?" I asked, not selling an emotion. She shrugged. "Fine. Fine like boring, fine like strange, or fine like this conversation is over?" "Please don't be like that." She grabbed the mug, took a sip, didn't look at me. "He was in town. He wanted to hear how I am. We're adults." "So I hear." I nodded at her phone. "Is that why last night suddenly needed privacy?" Her eyes chilled. "I don't have to narrate every second. I told you the truth." "You told me a headline," I replied. "Here's another. I booked us a trip. 10 days. I wanted you first in on the details." "That's sweet," she said, voice flat as a cutting board. "I might not be able to do 10 days. Then say which days work. We'll adjust." She put the mug down. "Can we not do logistics tonight? I'm tired." "No problem," I told her. I pulled the ticket sleeve from the drawer and laid it on the counter, a clean white rectangle between us. "This is what I give my energy to. You can match it or not. Your call." She looked at it, then at me. "You're making this heavy." "No," I said. "I'm showing priorities." She took the sleeve, thumbed it open, barely glanced, and slipped it back. "We'll see." "Good," I said, "because I'm not dragging anyone to paradise." She walked past me to the bedroom. The first layer of distance went up like a new fence, quiet, tidy, and right in the middle of my yard. The next week felt off. She was present but light, like a radio station just beyond range. Her good mornings were shorter. Her phone lived in her hand. She started scheduling late dinners with the girls, which used to be a monthly thing and now were twice a week. On Thursday, she came in late, set down a bag of takeout, and pulled her hair tie off with a wince. I was at the table paying bills. Late girls' night? I asked. Yeah. Which girls? I kept it calm and almost bored. You don't know all my friends. She dug into the bag without asking if I'd eaten. I know enough to know names, I said. But if we're doing, you don't need the details, fine. Here's a match. We're not doing the trip as planned. Her head snapped up. What? I'm not dragging tension through airport lounges. I'll change the dates. I slid a file folder into my bag. When you can look at a beach without a committee in your head, you and I can talk about it. Until then, I'm not spending 10 days listening to silence. That's manipulative, she cut in. No, I said. It's a boundary. I built something nice. I won't sit on it with someone who treats it like a chore. She tried the soft angle, the first illusion. I'm sorry this week's been weird. It's just a lot resurfaced. Old memories, old expectations. He reached out. It stirred things. I'm sorting it out. I should have told you more. Thank you for the trip. Really. I hear you. I said, not letting it stick. You do your sorting. I'll do the planning when I have a partner who's in it. I'm in it, she said gently, stepping closer, hand on my arm. Don't punish me for being honest. Not punishing, I answered. Rearranging. I'm moving the trip. And I'm cashing out of any late night question marks. What does that mean? It means every time you stay out with the girls, I don't sit here like a houseplant. I close the shop, I see my friends, I hit the gym. If you want time, take it. I'm taking mine. That's petty. That's balanced. We went to bed with her turned away, a new habit. I didn't yank at it. Friday night. She announced another girls' night without looking up from her closet. Which girls this time? I asked from the doorway. You're doing it again. Names aren't interrogations, I said. They're names. But take your time. She left in a dress I hadn't seen in months. I put on a jacket and went to the bar where my friend Nate runs trivia nights. He's a contractor with the blunt charm of a sledgehammer and the memory of a bookkeeper. When I walked in, he held up a hand, smirked. Look what the wind dragged in, he said. Where's the better half? Girl time, I said. Since when is girl time on a schedule? Since last week. He slid me a club soda. Everything fine. Define fine. He leaned on the counter. You look like you're doing math in your head. I'm adjusting, I said. Good, he answered. Adjust early. Cheaper in the long run. When I got home, the house was dark. I slept. She came in late and light-footed and showered like someone washing a story off. I stared at the ceiling, counting decisions. Saturday morning, she was bright as noon. Second illusion. She made pancakes, put music on, fed me jokes. She kissed my cheek and asked what I wanted to do. Let's talk dates for the trip, I said. Can it wait till Monday? She tilted her head, sweet enough to give a dentist work. I want to enjoy us. You want to enjoy me without committing to me. I replied, not raising my voice. That's not a weekend. That's rental. Her smile froze. You're being harsh. I'm being clear. I picked up my jacket. I'm going to the shop. I'll text you dinner plans. If you're out, you're out. Wow, she said, watching me. So this is you setting rules. This is me setting rules for me, I said. You're free to do you. I'm free to not sponsor it. At the shop, my assistant Maria was labeling packages. She's smart, calm, and allergic to nonsense. When she saw me, she lifted an eyebrow. You look like a tax audit, she said. Which part? The part where it's not your fault and you still have to pay. She taped a box. Everything okay at home? Let's call it. I'm in a recalibration phase, I said. If I don't answer my phone tonight, text me at 10 to remind me there's a tomorrow. I'll set a reminder, she answered, no questions asked. That's why she's good. By midweek, the pattern was cemented. Hugs were cooler. Her phone was warmer. She started going off the grid on weeknights and Sunday fellowship brunches I'd never heard of. When she was home, she was tired. When I spoke, she didn't have the bandwidth. Thursday, she came back in a rush, grabbed a tote, and kissed the air near my cheek. Dinner? I asked. Don't wait up. I'm not 12, I said. I won't. She stopped. Can you not be hostile? I'm not hostile, I said. I'm uninterested in being a prop. She rolled her eyes. You're so dramatic. Then do me a favor, I said, unlocking my phone. Send me your schedule. Cliff's notes. I can plan my life without guessing. You don't get to manage me, she snapped. I'm managing me, I replied. Send it, don't send it. I'm still not waiting up. She left. I booked a single business seat to the same beach resort and changed the dates. I paid cash, no discussion. If we were doing freedom, I was going to enjoy mine with a view. Nate texted, you free Saturday? Boat day with Tom and his wife. Count me in. Saturday on the water, Tom asked where my wife was. Tom is a quiet, decent guy with a tendency to squint at problems until they confess. Girls' weekend, I said. Nate whistled. That's a lot of girl time. Tom shrugged. Sometimes it's just a phase. Sure, I said. I'm phasing too. Took care of the trip. Solo. Nate's eyes warmed. You did? Yeah. When? Booked yesterday. Leaving next week. 10 days. I'll see if I miss being ignored. Tom shook his head, almost a smile. Don't do anything dumb. Dumb would be sitting still and hoping. I said. I'm done with hope. I'm on to calendars. When I got home that afternoon, she was getting ready again, different dress, same perfume. I sat on the edge of the bed and watched her pick earrings. Where to? I asked. Brittany's. We own one Brittany. You met her once at a barbecue. I don't think so, I said. But okay. Before you go, I want to confirm something. I moved the trip. Her eyelids barely flickered. To when? To when it makes sense. Will you tell me? Not right now. You're being mean, she said, turning. No, I said, standing. I'm mirroring. You don't worry about the details? That's the policy. She scoffed. Oh, please. Look, I told her. I'm not your parole officer. I don't need to know where you are. But the perk of marriage is partnership, not guessing. You're choosing mystery. I'm choosing distance. That's my adult version. Fine, she said. Do whatever makes you feel in control. I am in control, I replied. Of me. She left. I packed. Not everything. Just what mattered. Passport, a few shirts, sunglasses, a book, my sense of humor. Sunday morning I left a note. Back soon. Handle what's yours. At the airport lounge, the leather chair felt like a small apology for the last month. On the plane, I slept the way a man sleeps when he stopped arguing with ghosts. When we landed, the air smelled like salt and second chances. I checked in, dumped my bag, and walked straight into the ocean until the water cooled my ankles. By day 2, I felt human. I swam, I read, I ate grilled fish and didn't talk to anyone who wanted something from me. The second night, a woman about my age asked if the seat next to me was taken. Paige. Divorced 3 years. Owns a small marketing shop. Laughs like she trusts her own jokes. We talked about everything but marriage. It was easy. It didn't need to be more than that. We took a walk. We kept it grown up and simple. Good company, nothing promised. I didn't check my phone much. I wasn't playing the old game. I was building a new schedule in my head that didn't depend on hers. Day 3, late morning, I glanced at my messages. Nothing from her. That told a story all by itself. I put the phone away and went swimming. Around sunset, as Paige and I sat by the water with iced tea, my phone buzzed. The screen lit up like a warning flare. Where are you? I need money. No hello. No you okay. Just the kind of message you send when you think the world runs on your timing. I typed nothing for a minute. Then I switched the camera to front-facing, leaned toward Paige, and whispered, "Mind a quick photo joke?" She smirked. "If it's not going on the internet, sure." "It's going to one person who asked for details," I said. She nodded. I took the photo. Me, sunburned nose, a woman in a sundress in the corner of the frame. Both of us clean, fully clothed, smiling at nothing but the day. I sent it with a caption. "You don't need the details." Call after call came in like sirens. I let the first 2 ring into the ocean breeze. On the third, I answered. "What is this?" she demanded. "Clarity," I said. "Who is she?" "Don't worry. We're just talking. You think you're funny?" "I think I'm consistent." "You're being cruel." "I'm being you," I said and hung up. Then I blocked her number. I put the phone face down on the table and watched the sun finish its shift. Paige raised an eyebrow. That looked loaded. "Long story," I said. "Short version. I finally matched energy." "Good for you," she said. "Do you want to talk about it?" "Not tonight," I said. Tonight, I want to listen to the ocean do its job. The next days were quiet and clean. I swam more. I slept full nights. I smiled at strangers and didn't feel the need to sell them anything. If guilt came knocking, it found no one home. I hadn't broken anything. I had responded to what was already cracked. 2 days later, I flew home. The cabin lights came on early, the wheels hit the runway, and I felt more grounded than I had in a month. My phone stood silent the whole ride back. At the house, I walked into a vacuum of concern. She wasn't there. No fresh flowers. No, where were you? Not even a note. I showered, shaved, dressed, and drove to my attorney's office. I didn't want scenes. I wanted a life back. Papers were filed that afternoon. I went home, packed what was mine into clean boxes, and called a mover for the heavy pieces that had my name on the receipts. Her stuff I left untouched. The house title had my name. I didn't slam doors. I just executed. I called Nate. I need a favor, I said. Know any decent short-term rentals? 3rd floor above my buddy's shop, he said. Quiet. Furnished. You can watch the sunrise if you're into that. I'm into starting over, I told him. Then this is good, he said. Need help moving? I have a crew. I need a witness. I'll be there in an hour, he answered. He watched me load boxes, signed a note that listed exactly what I took and what I left. No drama, just inventory. I texted her one sentence from the empty kitchen. Keys are on the hook. I'll arrange the rest through email. I walked out, pulled the door shut, and didn't look back. In the rental, the first night, I slept like truth. Days passed. I heard nothing. Not a let's talk. Not a why. Not a I noticed you exist. Then, on day 3, at 10 a.m., an email hit my inbox. Where are you? I need money for utilities. That was the first line. Not how are you? Not what happened. Just an invoice with a human face. I replied with 2 words, handle yours. Maria knocked on my office door around lunch. You're lighter, she said. I finally moved out of my own waiting room. I told her. Good, she said. You want me to take the afternoon calls if you need an hour? I'm fine, I said. Today I will sell things and eat a sandwich and not explain my feelings. Atta boy, she smirked and left. By the end of the week, our mutual friends started chiming in, subtle as gossip can be. Tom texted, ran into her at the grocery store. She said some things about you. I called him. What kind of things? The kind where you're the bad guy, he said carefully. Said you changed. Skipped town. Left her in the house. Did a trip alone to make a point. Left out some chapters. People love short books, I said. She mentioned the sudden shift and the late nights? No, of course not. What do you need from me? He asked. Nothing, I said. I don't need character witnesses. I need distance. Then you're getting it, he said. I'll see you at the shop this weekend. A week turned into 2. My attorney emailed updates. It was moving quickly. I stayed out of the way. The nights were simple. Gym, a beer with Nate without making it a symbol, a phone call with my sister who told me I sounded like the brother she recognized. Then, one afternoon, I was in the rental kitchen making eggs when a text popped from an unknown number. We need to meet. I want what's fair. Fair meant she wanted a cut, and the narrative she'd spread said she deserved it because I was suddenly unreliable and selfish. The problem with stories is that receipts exist. Titles are in names. Timelines are real. I replied, email my attorney. Keep it documented. No reply. Good. The next week, I got the final message from my attorney. Everything signed, everything divided according to what was actually ours, not imagined plans. The house remained mine. The accounts stayed as they were built. No fireworks. Just math. I drove to the house with a locksmith. We walked through the rooms like 2 inspectors. My wedding photo was off the wall. Fine. The couch was still there. She had taken her clothes and her keepsakes, and not much else. The locksmith changed the locks, handed me new keys, and nodded. Nice place, he said. It's home again, I answered. I stood in the living room and breathed in the quiet. Then I sent one text to the old number I'd blocked and unblocked for the sake of civility. Paperwork is finalized. The movers can get anything you forgot on Saturday morning. After that, the code changes. Read. No reply. That was almost a mercy. Nate came by that night with Chinese takeout and a bad movie. He sat on the couch, kicked his shoes off like he paid rent. You look good, he said. I feel like a normal person, I said. You're a better version, he corrected. What now? Now I live, I said. I go to work. I lift heavy things. I answer to myself. He raised a carton. To quiet houses. To quiet houses, I echoed. 2 weeks later, I ran into Paige in the city. She was in town for a conference and recognized me from across a crosswalk. We got coffee. We didn't make promises. We agreed adult friendship wasn't a downgrade. Then we went on with our lives with a smile and a lightness I didn't have before. Word trickled back through friends like rain through gutters. Her ex had drifted right back out of her life. She left town. Someone saw a social post from a smaller city a few hours away, new apartment. New starting over caption. No one asked me how I felt. It wasn't their business. Also, I felt fine. Months after the last box, I woke up in my house on a Saturday. The light came in clean. The kitchen was mine again. I took my truck upstate with the windows down and stopped at a farmer's market where no one knew my name. I bought tomatoes that tasted like sun and a new cutting board made by a guy who carved his initials into the corner. In the afternoon, I stopped by a friend's backyard barbecue. Tom was there with his wife. Nate was on a lawn chair being loud and useful. Tom's wife pulled me aside. "You look different," she said. "Like what?" "Like peace," she said, then laughed. That sounded corny. "But you do." "Peace is underrated," I told her. Nate waved me over. "House rewarming party next weekend?" he asked. "Nothing big," I said. "Close friends. No speeches." "I'll bring cupcakes that taste like sugar and poor decisions," he grinned. I looked out at the yard, at the group that had somehow held me up by just standing still around me when I needed it. I thought about the roast chicken, the tickets in the drawer, and the one text that put a mirror in my house. Everything after that was choices. This is what I learned. You don't earn respect by explaining it. You don't hold a line by begging someone not to cross it. You show what matters by where you go and who you become when the door closes. I stopped chasing, I stopped waiting, and the noise faded. A few weeks later, Paige was back in town for real this time, consulting for a client near us. We grabbed dinner. We talked business, books, and the weather. At the end, she laughed. "You're easier now," she said. "I'm edited," I answered. "And the ex?" "Relocated," I said. "Good," she said. "You deserve someone who likes you on weekdays." "I like me on weekdays," I said. "Best start," she smiled. I walked her to her car. No fireworks. Just two people who knew the value of clean exits and slow entries. I went home to my quiet house, opened a window, and stood there with the lights off, listening to the ordinary sounds of a neighborhood that had outlasted our drama. Before bed, I opened the old drawer by the fridge. The trip tickets were still there, and used except for the one I took on my own. I took the envelope, slid it into the recycling, and shut the drawer. If there's a moral, it's this. When someone tells you don't worry, you don't need the details, believe them. They're informing you of your rank. Then make a new rank. Move your time. Move your money. Move your life. Don't yell. Don't deliver speeches. Let action close the door. The last message I ever sent her was also the last thing I said out loud when I stood in the doorway that day with the keys on the hook. It wasn't poetic. It was exact. "You don't have to choose me," I told the empty house. "But I'm choosing me." And that was it. Epilogue. The shop grew that quarter. Maria got a raise. Nate and I built a Saturday routine. Basketball at 9, coffee after. Tom and his wife came over for burgers one Sunday, and we ate on the deck with a new table I sanded myself. The house felt lived in by a person who knew where his tools were. As for her, friends said she moved again. New city. A rental near a freeway. She was trying to rebuild. That's fine. People do. I don't hate her. I don't wish her harm. I also don't miss being a background character in my own home. I kept the boundary and the tone. I'm not rushing into labels. I've met a few women on my own time, had good conversations, laughed like an adult. That's enough for now. The trip I booked for 2 turned out to be the ticket back to myself. Not the beach, not the selfies, not the iced tea by the water. The act, the decision, the refusal to hold a place for someone who couldn't be bothered to show up. You want me tender? I was at first. You want me patient? I was,